I'm on record, I think you do remember, and I'm glad that you are part of my press briefing. When I called for my first press briefing 1 week ago. And I did appeal and advise our able leader, our president. And look, these appointments are inconsequential. Because you appoint them today. If we go for a convention in 3 weeks' time, the new president, as provided by our PF constitution, is allowed to pick his own members of the Central Committee. I mean, there's an English adage that in things essential, let there be liberty. I mean, let there be unity. In non-essential things, let there be liberty. For now, it's not time to concentrate on non-essential things, such as these appointments. These appointments are non-essential things. And therefore, they must be left alone. What is more important now are things essential. What are the things essential as having a president for the party? That is what is more critical. Look, it's laughable, with due respect to the appointing authority, that Honorable Given Ruvenda will be appointed as the vice president of the party when he was not good enough for the running mate. Does that make sense? That he only becomes good enough as a vice president in opposition when he was not good enough as a running mate. If I were Honorable Given Ruvenda, I would gladly indicate to the appointing authority, sir, I'm grateful for the consideration, but I am not available for now. That's the most honorable thing to do. How can you be good enough in opposition when you're not good enough when we're in power?
Do you think maybe Professor Nkandulo would have done better maybe to be now the vice president because she did qualify as a running mate? It's
not in my place to discuss Professor Luo's capabilities, but I'm just trying to challenge Honorable Given Ruvenda's position right now, and since he's one of the beneficiaries of the new appointments. Whether or not Honorable Luo is well placed to be the vice president, well, I leave it to the critical voice of our people, the faithful members of the PF. But then I'm saying these appointments for me are inconsequential.
Whom do you think, regardless of the convention and the likes, whom do you think is maybe rightly pressed in these positions? I almost forgot Honorable Rafa Nakachinda, who is now in charge of media and publicity.
Again, you see, this is another thing that I think that was not done correctly. To begin with, with due respect to Honorable Nakachinda's credentials, when Honorable Kachinda was being nominated as a member of parliament, we were told he's coming from the MMD. And unless I missed it, but the record has it that Honorable Nakachinda is still an MMD member. There are many legal battles that have been within the courts, challenging various positions as undertaken by the MMD. Before he could even relinquish his position, the MMD is appointed as a member of the Central Committee. And think there's a way that things can be done better. And this is what we are calling for. We can you afford on this trajectory as a party if we are to bounce back. And we should not fool ourselves that we are going to bounce back and yet we continue to do wrong things. We must begin by correcting the wrong before we begin to entertain the idea of us having to bounce back. Because what sent us out of power is the fact that we were doing things wrong. So until the day we begin to correct the things, the wrong things that we are doing, that's the day that we must begin to entertain the thought of us having to bounce back. Talking about Comrade Antonio Mwanza, and I'm very happy he's a comrade, he's my dear friend, and I'm happy he's a youthful leader like many of us. But again, see, Comrade Antonio Mwanza was an employee of the Secretariat. He was not even part of the party structures. So you leave all these members of the structures and you set up an employee of the Secretariat to preside over the affairs of the youth? Are we really being serious? Or are we demonstrating to the Zambian people that we are a bunch of jokers? And we cannot continue trivializing leadership. Leadership is a critical thing. The success of this country, the success of organization, the success of business entities is dependent on the quality of leadership. And so we don't appear to pay attention. And we expect a fortune out of, such comedy of error that we continue to espouse and embrace.